you.
Don't call yourself a doctor in my presence.
4 more cablegrams and more packages. Dad is going crazy upstairs with that bell ringing all the time.
Oh, dear. Jim, will you go? What did you say, Richard?
Yeah. One's from San Francisco, and one's from New York City.
There was something from Alaska early this morning.
Doesn't that bird brain of yours ever function?
Oh, really?
I think so. Yes. He wants Players Club cigarettes.
Players Club.
Oh, they have those down at Kitchener's. I'll run and get them.
Thank you. Tell me, Miss Green, are they bringing him out soon?
We're getting excuse me. We're getting him out of bed now. She's not very soon.
Oh, I'm so excited. I hardly know what to do with myself.
2 o'clock. 2 o'clock? Yes. Yes, I think we'll be able to talk then. All right. Well, can you guess who that was? Mr. H.G. Wells from London.
H.G. Wells from London? On our telephone?
I'll go, Mother. This certainly is a busy house.
I've got his orange juice. Oh, that's fine, Sarah. Is it fresh? Yes, ma'am.
You move like a broken down truck horse.
His voice is just the same as on the radio. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
What do you think? He's going to be coming out this morning.
Oh, you don't mean it? Can we really see him?
Oh, why? I think he'd love it.
I'll be upstairs, Mother, if you want me.
Yes, June. Tell your father you'd better come out, will you? Mr. Whiteside is coming down.
I will. I brought him some flowers and was wondering if I could give it to him.
Why, of course, that'd be lovely.
Oh, and I brought some castor jelly.
Oh, how nice. Oh, look at those cablegrams, girls. These are calls and messages from all over this country and Europe. The New York Times, Felix Frankfurter, Dr. Defoe, Melton Observatory. I just can't tell you all what's been going on. I'm simply exhausted.
There was a big piece in the Times. Did you see it?
No, really?
Oh, what? Your name's in it too, Daisy. Oh, look at this. Hornley Sheridan Whiteside, critic, lecturer, wit, radio orator, intimate friend of the great and the near great, last week found his celebrated wit no weapon with which to combat an injured hip. The Faustian Mr. Whiteside, trekking across the country on one of his annual lecture tours, met his Waterloo in the shape of a small piece of ice on the doorstep of Mr. and Mrs. Ernest W. Stanley of Massalia, Ohio. The result canceled lectures and disappointment to thousands of clubswomen in Omaha, Denver, and points to the west. Further result, the idol of the airwaves rests until further notice in the home of Mr. and Mrs. Price Stanley. The possibility, Christmas may be postponed. Now, what does that mean?
A small piece of ice on the doorstep of Mr. and Mrs. Think of it! You know, I just felt terrible. He never goes to dinners anywhere, and he finally agreed to come to this. And then this had to happen. Poor Mr. Whiteside. But it'll be so wonderful having him here, even for a little while. We'll sit in the evening and read books and plays, talk about all the great people he's known, and he'll talk in that lovely voice of his. He may even read Goodbye, Mr. Chipsauce.
Daisy, I can't wait any longer. And Mr. Whiteside, good morning, ladies.
Ernest, H.G. Wells telephoned from London, and we're in time. Look.
I don't like this kind of publicity at all, Daisy. But when do you think he'll be leaving?
Well, he's only getting up this morning. He's been in bed for 2 full weeks. He's had quite a shock after all. He'll have to rest a few days.
Well, it must be a great honor his being here and all, but I can't help but feel troubled, you know. Bells ringing all the time, packages going in and out.
Pardon me, Miss Stanley. Have the cigarettes come yet?
They're on their way. My son went for them.
Thank you.
This is Miss Cutler, Mr. Whiteside's secretary.
How do you do? May I move this chair?
You mean he's coming out now?
He is indeed. Is he really coming out?
Sarah.
June, Mr. Whiteside's coming out. Good morning, Dr. Bradley.
Good morning, good morning. Well, here we are, merry and bright. Can you bring your little patient out, Miss Crane?
I may vomit.
Good morning, Mr. Whiteside. I'm Mrs. Ernest Stanley, remember? And this is my husband, Mr. Stanley.
Very nice to meet you, Mr. Whiteside. I do hope that you're better.
Thank you. I'm suing you for $150,000.
What? How's that?
I said I'm suing you for $150,000.
You mean?
Because you fell on our steps, Mr. Whiteside.
Samuel J. Leibowitz will explain it to you in court. Who are those two harpies standing over there like the kiss of death?
My crust with jelly.
Made from your own feet, no doubt. And now, Mrs. Stanley, I have a few small matters to take up with you. This corner druggist at my elbow tells me that I shall be confined to this moldy mortuary for at least another 10 days. I shall have to carry on my work as best I can. I shall require the exclusive use of this room as well as that drafty sewer which you call the library. I want no one to come in or out while I am in this room.
I don't quite understand, Mr. Whiteside.
Well, we have to go up the steps to get to our rooms.
Is there a back entrance?
Why, yes.
Then use that. I shall also require a room for my secretary, Miss Cutler. There will be a great many incoming and outgoing calls, so please do not use the phone. I sleep until noon and must have quiet through the house until that hour. There will be 5 for lunch today. Where's the cook?
Now, Mr. Whiteside, listen here.
We will not talk about this, Mr. Stanley. Get your clammy hands off my chair. You have the touch of a sex-starved cobra. Now, will you all leave quietly, or must I ask my secretary to pass among you all with a baseball bat?
Oh, well, we'll be seeing you, Daisy. We'll call you. Oh, wait, we mustn't use the phone. We'll be seeing you. Goodbye.
I'll call you from the office later, Daisy.
Not on this phone, please. Here's the menu for lunch.
But I've already ordered my lunch.
It'll be sent up to you on a tray. Where are those cigarettes?
My son went for them. I don't know why he... Here, Sarah, here's money for lunch. I'll have mine upstairs in the tray.
Young lady, I cannot stand indecision. Will you either go up those stairs or come down them?
Oh, well, good morning, Mr. Whiteside. Oh, here are the cigarettes. Sorry I was gone so long. Well, I had to go to 3 different stores to get them.
You were gone long enough to have a baby. Is there a man in the world who suffers as I do from the gross inadequacies of the human race? What are you doing? Go in there and read about the life of Florence Nightingale and learn how unfitted you are for your chosen profession.
Well, I think I can leave you Miss Taylor's capable hands. Try looking again this afternoon.
If you do, I shall spit right in your eye.
Oh, what a sense of humor you writers have. Say, it isn't worth mentioning, but I've been doing a little writing myself about my medical experiences.
Am I to be spared nothing?
Well, if it wouldn't be too much for you to glance over it while you're here.
Trapped.
Well, I just so happen to have a copy with me. The story of a humble practitioner, or 40 years an Ohio doctor.
Oh, I shall drop everything, Doctor.
Oh, I thank you so much, Mr. Whiteside. You've made me a very proud man. Very proud. Remember, keep the hit quiet, and remember, take your little pills, and goodbye.
Maggie, will you take 40 years below the navel or whatever it is?
I must say, you have certainly behaved with your most accustomed grace and charm.
Listen here, Toots. I'm in no mood to discuss my behavior, good or bad. I did not wish to be here. I was hounded, badgered into it, and then I find myself, after 2 weeks of racking pain, accused of behaving without charm. What would you have me do, kiss them?
Very well, Sherry. After 10 years, I should have known better than to try to do anything about your behavior. But when I leave this job, I may write a book about it all. Through the years with Prince Charming.
Listen, repulsive. You're tied to me with an umbilical cord made of piano wire. And now, if we can get to work, I'd very much like to. Let's see. Are there any wires? Stop stalling, Maggie. Let's get to work. Oh, no.
My name is Harriet Stanley. I know you are Sheridan Whiteside. I remember what you've written about Tess and Judy Obscuring, and I found this holly. It's the nicest present I could bring you.
What in God's name was that?
That was Mr. Stanley's sister, Harriet. She's quite strange.
Strange? She's right out of the Hound of Baskervilles. I swear, I've seen that face before somewhere.
Nonsense, you couldn't have.
Oh, well, let's get back to work. Here, press this in the doctor's book. I see no reason why I should endorse maiden-form brassieres.
Here are some telegrams.
What date is this?
December 10th.
Send a wire. Let's see here. Why, look at this. That's odd. Send a wire. Mahatma Gandhi, Bombay, India. Dear Boo Boo, plans have changed. Meet in Calcutta, July 12th. Dinner at 8:30, Whiteside.
Are you sure you'll be all right by Christmas, Sherry?
Yes. Arturo Toscanini, where is he?
I'll find him.
If it's for Mrs. Stanley, tell them she's too drunk to talk.
Hello? What? Hollywood.
If it's Goldwyn, hang up.
Oh, hello, Banjo.
Banjo? Give me that
Oh,
phone.
Banjo, you old so-and-so. How are you, darling?
Stop dribbling and give me that phone.
Coming east, Banjo. Oh, I miss you.
Stop it. Give me that phone.
He's going to live, yes. In fact, he's screaming at me now. Here he is.
Banjo? How are you, you old fawns behind? Yes, I'm fine. I've got the best horse doctor in town. Been playing any cribbage lately? $1,400? Well, leave some for me. What? Your portrait painted? By whom? I see. Well, Banjo, I can't spend all my time talking to Hollywood riffraff. Kiss Luella Parsons for me. Goodbye. He took $1,400 from Sam Goldwyn in cribbage, and Sam said, Banjo, I will never play garbage with you again.
What was all that about him having his portrait painted?
Salvatore Dali. That's all that face of his needs. A surrealist to paint it.
Here's a wire from that dear friend of yours, Lorraine Sheldon.
Let me see it. What do you want now, Miss Bedpan?
It's your pills, Mr. Whiteside. One every 45 minutes.
To my poor, sweet Sherry. Have been in Scotland on a shooting party with Lord and Lady Kennard, and have only heard of my poor, sweet Sherry's hip. Am in Surrey, sailing Wednesday on the Normandy with Lord Bottomley, and cannot wait to see my poor, sweet Sherry, your Blossom Girl. In the words of the master, I may vomit.
Don't be bitter, Toots, just because Lorraine is more beautiful than you are.
Lorraine Sheldon is a fair example of that small but vicious circle you move in.
Pure sex jealousy if I ever saw it. Let me see the rest of those.
Lorraine Sheldon, Lord Bottomley, my Aunt Fanny.
This one is from Destiny's Tot.
No, England's little rubber boy.
Yes. Dear baby's breath. What is this I hear about some hip fractured in some bordello brawl? I guess this means our Christmas party is off. Have just finished the play in Pago Pago and it's superb. Myself and a ukulele leave Honolulu tomorrow. In that order. The Sultan of Zanzibar wants to meet Ginger Rogers. Love, Beverly.
Well, he does travel a lot, doesn't he? You know, it would be nice if the world revolved around Beverly Carlton for a change.
Hollywood next week. Why couldn't he drop by? Send him a wire. Beverly Carlton, Royal Hawaiian Hotel, Honolulu. If these people intend to have their friends using the front door...
Expect them to use a rope ladder?
I do not want a lot of mildewed pus bags rushing in and out of here while I'm trying to work, Maggie.
Well, hello, Mr. Governor. Good morning, John.
Go away! There's nobody home. The Stanleys have been arrested for white slavery.
Good morning, Mr. Whiteside. I'm Jefferson of the Berea Journal.
Get rid of him.
I'm sorry. Mr. Whiteside is seeing no one.
Really?
So will you please leave? Good day.
Well, he seems to be sitting up and taking notice.
I'm afraid Mr. Whiteside is not taking notice of the Berea Journal. Will you please leave?
You know, if I would be insulted, I'd like to be insulted by Mr. Whiteside himself. I never was much for carbon copies.
Touche if I ever heard one. And in Massalia too, Maggie dear.
Will you please leave?
How about an interview, Mr. Whiteside?
Go away. I never give them.
Come on, Mr. Whiteside. If I don't get this interview, I lose my job.
That would be quite all right with me.
Now you don't mean that, Mr. Whiteside. You used to be a newspaper man yourself. You know how editors can be. Well, mine's the toughest one that ever lived.
Oh, don't try to get around me that way. If you don't like him, get off the paper.
But I happen to think it's a good paper. William Allen White could have gotten out of Emporia, but he didn't.
You have the effrontery, in my presence, to compare yourself to William Allen White.
Only in the sense that he could have gotten out of Emporia. And I like to stay here and say what I want to say.
Such as what?
Well, I can't really put it to words, Mr. Whiteside. It sounded like an awful lot of hooey. But the Journal was my father's paper, so it's kind of a sentimental point to me, the paper. I like to carry on where he left off.
So you own this paper?
That's right.
In this dread journalistic apocalypse is you yourself?
In a word, yes.
I see.
In the future, Sherry, when you don't want to see anyone, let me know. I'll usher them right in.
Take a seat, Jefferson. I suppose you've written that novel?
No, I've written that play.
Well, I don't want to read it. Hand me that box of candies, will you?
Well, you see, Mr. Whiteside, the trouble is that you being here comes under the heading of news. Practically the biggest news since the Great Depression. So I just gotta get a story.
Butternut pecan. Oh, wow. Fudge. Delectable candies of all kinds.
Oh, no, Mr. Whiteside. You mustn't eat candy. It's very bad for you.
My great Aunt Jennifer ate a box of candy every day of her life. She lived to be 102, and when she'd been dead 3 days, she looked better than you do now. Go ahead, Jefferson.
Well, I can report to my readers that chivalry is not yet dead.
We won't speak of it. Well, now that you've won me with your pretty ways, what would you like to know?
Well, how about we talk about murder? You're an authority on murders of fine art.
My dear boy, when I talk about murder, I get paid for it. Well, I made it more off the Snyder Gray case than the lawyers did, so you're not going to get it for nothing.
Okay, Mr. Whiteside. How about some simple things like, what do you think of Massalia? How long are you going to be here? Where are you going after that? Things of that sort.
Very well. A. Massalia is a town of irresistible charm. B. I cannot wait to get out of it. And C. From here, I head to Crockfield for the semi-annual visit to the Crockfield Home for Paroled Convicts. Have you ever been to Crockfield, Jefferson?
No, I haven't. I always meant to.
Yes, you really ought to go as a newspaper man, instead of wasting your time here with me. Did you ever hear how Crockfield got started?
No, I didn't.
Well, take a seat. It was one misty St. Valentine's Eve, 1901. Elias P. Crockfield had just gotten out of the penitentiary. He went directly to St. Peter's Church. While he was in there, he went to the poor box. He greedily rummaged around for a few small coins, when from behind him, he heard a voice that said, "Mr. Man, will you be my Valentine?" He turned around, and it was a bewitching little creature of 5. Her blonde pigtails rolled down her shoulders. She handed him that humble little Valentine. Something must have opened in Elias P. Crockfield's heart that day. An idea began to grow. 25 years later, 3,000 convicts are sitting on the front lawn gambling. Elias P. Crockfield has long since passed, but the little girl has grown into a woman. She's the wife of the warden. They call her the Angel of Crockfield. And in the main hall, there hangs in a simple little frame that humble Valentine.
And in the men's washroom, every Christmas Eve, Elias P. Crockfield appears in one of the stalls. Will you sign this?
This aging debutante, Mr. Jefferson, I retain in my employee only because she's the sole support of her two-headed brother.
I understand. Well, thank you, Mr. Whiteside. You've been very kind. If you need a cribbage player while you're here, I'm a cribbage player.
Fine. How much can you afford to lose?
I usually win.
Well, we won't speak of it. Come back here, say 8:30, and we'll play freehand with Mary Poppins.
Good, Mr. Whiteside. Sherry.
Metz? Metz, you incredible beetle hound, what are you doing here?
I explained, Sherry. First, I kissed my neck.
Oh, Metz, darling. What a wonderful surprise.
Jefferson, meet the world's leading authority on insect life, Professor Adolf Metz.
How do you do?
How do you do? Well, Sherry.
Metz, stop looking at me adoringly and tell me why you're here.
You were sick, Sherry, so I come to cheer you.
He once lived in a cave for 2 years, eating only plant lice. He rates 2 pages in the Encyclopedia Britannica. Don't you, my little hookworm?
Please, Sherry, you'll bear it. Look, I brought you a present to while away the hours. I said to my students, boys and girls, I would like to get a present for my sick friend, Sheridan Whiteside. So you know what we did? We made for you a community of Perenata Americana, commonly known as the American cockroach. Inside are 10,000 cockroaches. 10,000. And if all goes well, there will be 50,000 cockroaches.
If all goes well. Well, what could go wrong? They're in there, aren't they?
Wyatt. Go ahead.
You can watch them, Sherry, as they live out their entire lives. Look, here's the maternity hospital. It's quite fascinating. They do everything that human beings do. Here, you can listen to them as they live out these lives. They're
What?
earphones in.
How long has this been going on?
I beg your pardon, Mr. Whiteside. I don't know who this man is, but I want to
Then
stand
go
here.
upstairs. Oh, those must be my luncheon guests. Metz, staying for the day?
I certainly will.
Stay for lunch?
Glad to.
Come in, gentlemen. Ah, Jefferson. This is one of the fruits of that humble little Valentine. You're, Henderson, the hatchet fiend, right?
Yes, sir.
Always chopped him up in a salad bowl, remember?
Oh, yes.
John? John, is lunch ready?
Yes, lunch is ready, sir.
Well, shall we?
Can I help you?
Yes, thank you.
I'll tell that there's 5 more.
We're having chicken livers tetrazzini and Sherry's Jubilee for dessert. John, will you close the doors behind us? Don't want a lot of people prying on their betters.